Hello world, and welcome to this battle report for Warlord Games Excellence World War II skirmish game Bolt Action, 2nd edition. This was actually shot quite some time ago. The footage for the main game was shot a while ago, and it was a bit of an experiment, our first attempt at doing a battle report, so I do apologise for the amateurish nature of this video if you do end up watching it. It was a good game though. It did come down to a dice roll at the end, which is what you're always looking for. No spoilers. But having watched it, I think it does need this bit of an introduction just to make sense of what happens in it. Firstly, I've kind of had to do a bit of detective work as to the scenario that we played, because we did use a tank war forces. It was German Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers versus United States Armoured Recon Rangers. So we were using the Armoured Platoon list out of the Tank War supplement for the game. But having had a look at it, I'm pretty sure we didn't actually use the Tank War scenario when we played it. I think what we actually used was a scenario from the main rulebook, which was just key positions, which is a pretty standard sort of scenario with objectives. And the reason I think it is this one is that the objectives in the centre are not very far apart. They have to be 18 inches apart for Tank War, and there is a point where one unit in the game is actually holding 3 objectives. So for it to be doing that, they must only be 12 inches apart, which is what makes me think we played that scenario out of the Bolt Action main rulebook. The only other thing that I would probably explain beforehand is a special rule in the United States, Armies of the United States expansion for the game, and that is the Ranger Squad special rule. Rangers lead the way, so units of Rangers are allowed to make a run move after both sides have finished setup, but before the first turn of the game. So at the start of the game there are several Ranger squads on the board, and that is because they've made use of that special rule. Rangers lead the way to run onto the table. Apart from that, I think it makes sense. Like I say, it is our first attempt, so apologies. Particularly, there are some audio issues with the players speaking over my commentary at times. I think you can hear it, and I do apologise for the audio quality at those moments. I hope you enjoy. So here is the German Panzer Grenadier Armoured Platoon. We have a Panther Veteran Command Tank, 2nd Panther Regular, a regular Panzer IV, a Hanomag with a full strength veteran Panzer Grenadiers squad. Riding along with them is a veteran Panzerschreck team. We have a 2nd Hanomag with another full strength veteran Panzer Grenadier squad. Riding along with them is a Flammenwerfer team. And we have a Stummel, self-propelled light howitzer, carrying along an 8-man veteran Panzer Grenadier team. Is 2025 points, and it is a total of 11 order dice. And for those who are interested, this is the equipment
and points breakdown for those Panzer Grenadiers. Here we have the American Recon.
This is getting led by the M24 Chaffee light tank, and the infantry boys at the front are Rangers, which are lighter rating squads. We have 3 full squads, led by the LT over near the building, and the backup bazooka team. We have a Greyhound, the first of 2, the second is hiding in the woods off to the left. And next to that we have our first of our tank destroyers, which is our M36 Jackson. Next to that, our regimental artillery. Towards the back, sneaky as ever, is our snipers. And towards them is a sneaky tank destroyer, a nice beautiful Hellcat. And our transport pool, 2 M3 half-tracks, a deuce and a half, and a 3/4 ton Dodge truck with 16 ore dice.
And here we have the list for the US Recon Force.
Here's the terrain. We have a roadside hotel with a few associated houses, some of which have been bombed into ruin. A couple of wheat fields and some copses of forest. We have a road running the length of the board diagonally, and just a couple of rocky outcrops at the eastern end of the board. Objectives have been placed. We have one right outside the roadside hotel, one in the centre of the road, one placed in the outhouse of the adjacent buildings, and one in the wood. Okay, the US Rangers have taken the initiative here. Sniper deployed in the forest. Spotter for the howitzer.
Yep.
Up against the wall, up against the obstacle in cover. Coming up behind him, Rangers lead the way. One squad coming through the wheat field. Another squad coming up the road. And the third squad are already up behind the hotel. First dice drawn is a German dice, and the Command Panther advances first. It is hiding in this little copse of trees at the side of the road. An American dice comes out, and the Rangers scarper off the road to hide behind the building. A German dice is drawn. The Stummel rolls on, fires its light howitzer, missing the Rangers. An American dice is drawn, and the Rangers advance through the wheat field to take cover behind the stone wall. Another American dice is drawn, and the Greyhound armoured car comes on in support of the Rangers. Another American dice comes out. Half-track rolls on with the bazooka team on board. Another American dice, and the bazooka team deploy into the woods. Next dice is our German dice. The second Panther rolls straight up the road, takes a shot at the bazooka team hiding in the bushes, but they duck. Another American dice, and the lieutenant has arrived in his half-track behind the hotel here. And as another American dice is drawn, the lieutenant disembarks to command. A bit of a left flank developing here. Yet another American dice has come out, and we have the second Greyhound forming up with the first. Fire on the horizon here. There's been a German dice that's come out.
Panzer IV has rolled in on the flank. Well, it's not the flank actually, it's the middle. And fired at the Greyhound and knocked it out. Another German dice is drawn. Hanomag comes on carrying one of the veteran Panzer Grenadier teams and the Flammenwerfer. Another German dice is drawn, and the second Hanomag pulls up alongside the first, holding the second squad of Panzer Grenadiers and the Panzerschreck team. An American dice is drawn, and the Jackson tank destroyer rolls up through the wheat, draws a bead on the side of the Panzer IV across the opposite field. The shot misses. An American dice comes out, and the medium howitzer is drawn up onto the hillside alongside of the road. German dice is drawn, and the Panzerschreck team go down inside their Hanomag. An American dice is drawn, and the howitzer is unlimbered and deployed. The German dice is drawn, and the Flammenwerfer goes down inside its Hanomag. An American dice is drawn, and the Hellcat comes rolling down the road, takes a shot at the Panther, but the Panther is still there. An American dice is drawn, and the command tank, the Chaffee, comes up on the far left flank for the Americans, takes a shot through at the Hanomag. Just misses. A German dice is drawn, and the Germans go down in their Hanomag as that shot from the Chaffee passes over their heads.
We haven't moved the
Another German dice is drawn,
team,
and they likewise go down inside their Hanomag.
and we've got this truck.
An American dice comes out, and the sniper in the forest goes onto ambush. An American dice is drawn, and the truck rolls up behind the half-truck. An American dice is drawn, and the rangers at the back of the hotel come bursting through to occupy the ground floor. And at the end of turn one, we have a American left flank developing up here with the hotel at its center. We have some fairly big guns deployed at the end of the road. A sniper hiding in there so well we can't see them. We've got the Greyhounds, Rangers opposing them. We have the Stummel on the left flank and Panzer IV for the Germans. And the Germans are making a concentrated attack here on the right flank. Both Hanomags full of veteran Panzer Grenadiers and both Panthers ready to advance. First dice out for round two is a German dice, and it goes to the Panzer IV. It advances, takes a shot at the Hellcat in the road, and the Hellcat reverses rapidly using its recce move out of sight behind the hill. An American dice comes out. The Chaffee advances to fire an HE shell into the midst of those Hanomags, but the shot flies over the top. Another American dice has come out. The Jackson spins around to the left flank, tries that HE shot again into those two Hanomags, but misses. Howitzer sends around down the road, attempting to clip those two Hanomags once again, but misses. The Greyhound has advanced in front of its Ranger allies, has taken a light anti-tank shot at the front of the Stummel, but it has also missed. Another American dice comes out, and the bazooka in the forest.
Oh, one at a time you're doing it.
Goes on to ambush.
One at a time.
The German dice is drawn, and the Hanomag guns it straight at the American lines.
Opening fire.
with their medium machine gun. And scoring hits, putting a pin marker on, and one ranger falls into the wheat. A German dice comes out, second Hanomag follows up, also spraying down the rangers behind their wall, causing another pin, but no further casualties. The Flammenwerfer has disembarked as a German dice is drawn and scored a devastating hit on the rangers behind their hard cover. To no avail. The wheat is burning and the ranger squad is utterly destroyed. The German dice is drawn. The Panther manoeuvres for a shot at the front of the Chaffee, which wears around quite well. It has 3 pin markers on it from the results of that shot, but and a turret jam result. So otherwise, it's still there. And American dice comes out, and the M3 half track opens up with its 50 cal, putting a pin marker on the Hanomag and the Panzer Grenadiers inside. A German dice comes out.
They are veterans, so you need
Panzer
5 to kill.
Grenadiers disembark. Fire their Panzerfaust into the side of the Jackson. Only one of them hit.
No.
Causes a
Here, he was shooting the Panzerfaust, wasn't he?
pin
Not, I mean, the Flammenwerfer.
marker.
Yeah.
The rest of the squad shoot at the spotter hiding in the wheat. He takes a pin marker but survives. American dice comes out, and the rangers in the hotel open fire from the window, putting a pin marker on the Flammenwerfer. And American dice comes out, and the lieutenant withdraws to behind hardcover. Wild moves here as an American dice come out, and the truck is driven across the road to create a block for line of sight. An American dice is drawn, and the M3 half track pulls back and changes its orientation to lend fire support to this left flank, firing through at the Flammenwerfer team with its HMG missing. A German dice is drawn, and the Panzer Schreck advances for a point-blank shot at the Chaffee.
Trying to pin it down. Can we?
That somehow misses the shot from that
He can
range.
put 18 on that.
An American dice is drawn, and the Rangers pull back from the German onslaught, taking shelter behind this strategically placed truck on the road. The German dice is drawn. Stummel advances, firing its light howitzer at the Rangers in the road, but misses. Panzer Grenadiers
Open top.
disembark, triggering the ambush from the
Oh.
sniper.
Sorry, I thought it
Too close to use his sniper scope. The two of them open fire and put a pin marker on the squad.
The Panzerfaust.
Panzer Grenadiers open up with their Panzerfaust against the Greyhound,
Yeah, at that one. But that be done.
glancing,
You can leave men.
exploding around it,
But if you leave them in, they get shot by that.
causing 3 pins.
If they shoot.
Dice is drawn, and the
Well, maybe I should
veteran
shoot
Panzer
the,
Grenadiers
guys in
squad
our ambush.
go down inside this Hanomag. A German dice has come out. The Panther has fired HE into the ground floor of the hotel, and in a devastating strike has destroyed the Ranger squad inside.
Actually, quite weird.
An American
It's not a
dice
rifle.
comes out.
That is in fact a
The Jeep
FG-42.
that had
It's
advanced
a
with the
paratroopers light machine gun
Howitzer?
automatic rifle.
That's all right.
advances down the road, shooting its
I don't know
MMG
why he's got an FG-42.
at those Panzer Grenadiers, putting a pin and causing a casualty. It is the end of turn 2, starting on the German right flank here. The American infantry has crumbled away. The Jackson and Chaffee are hard pressed. They are still there. The Rangers have been blown out of the hotel. And the German left flank is advancing toward the road, where the Rangers and the support, vehicles are pretty much holding their ground.
Nope.
But this
Tension
one is-
here on the American left flank as the Jackson is given an advance order, but with 2 pins on it and the pressure of Tiger Fear, it fails its order test and goes down. More desperation on the left flank for the Americans. The Chaffee opens fire at point blank with its hull-mounted machine gun, managing to put a pin on the Panzer team right in front of them. Meanwhile, its main gun fires anti-tank at the Hanomag. Missing. Next 2 dice out are American dice assigned to the half tracks. And both fire their heavy machine guns, putting pins down range. One putting pins on the Panzer Grenadiers,
Yep.
and the other putting pins on the Flammenwerfer.
Flammenwerfer.
Flammenwerfer. A German dice comes out, and the Panther tank in the road, it goes onto ambush. An American dice comes out. The Greyhound, under the weight of its pins, fails to accept its advance order and instead goes down. A German dice comes out. Panzer IV advances and at point blank range knocks out the second Greyhound.
How about
A
we go
German
towards
dice
How about we move
comes
towards the
out
objectives?
and the Flammenwerfer team remount their Hanomag. A German dice is drawn and the Hanomag advances, taking out the artillery spotter with its forward-facing medium machine gun. A German dice comes out and the veteran Panzer Grenadiers, surrounded actually at the moment by American armour and with one pin marker on them, fail
Shoot that squad.
an advance order and go down in the wheat field. An American dice comes out and the 3/4 ton Dodge truck opens up with its medium machine gun, causing the Panzer Grenadiers out in the field to go down to avoid their fire. A German dice is drawn.
That's
The
as far as
Panzer
it can go.
Shrek team back up,
Who wants to go a little
fire,
You only go like that. That's good because that way
and knock out
that
the Chaffee command tank.
doesn't get near anyone. So that
An American dice has come out. The Hellcat advances down the road, takes a shot at the Panzer IV, connects, glancing hit, stunned, turret jam. The German dice comes out and the command Panther takes a shot through at the Jackson that glances off its armour. The German dice is drawn, Hanomag advances into the forest,
operational, isn't it?
I'll look more like that. Yes, it is.
firing at the Rangers in the road, hit the deck, go down and avoid the shot. An American dice comes
Deliberately
out
didn't go for a
and
run yesterday.
the howitzer
But
fires through at the Panzer
You know,
they're standing
IV
up all day.
in soft
Oh, yeah.
cover from the
You
forest.
know, they recommend
And misses
walking
it.
with.
An American dice is drawn and the bazooka team dash from the cover of the forest, invoking the ambush of the Panther, which fires its machine guns, putting a single pin on them, and they take their shot through at the Stummel and miss. An American dice is drawn and the sniper team redeploy stealthily through the woods right alongside the Germans. American dice is drawn and the command section spray their SMGs at the Hanomag, putting a pin on it and the Flammenwerfer team inside. An American dice comes out and the truck advances a little further down the road. The troops screened behind it. And that is the end of turn 3 here on the German right flank. It's looking a little bit thin for the Americans. We've got the Jackson tank and the M3 half tracks, pretty much the only things holding the position there. Down here we've got the Panthers eyeing the road, being screened by the truck. Up here we have pretty much the concentration of the remaining American forces. We have the Rangers in the road, the Hellcat, and the Howitzer. The Germans advancing through the trees. An American dice comes out and the Hellcat opens fire on the Panzer IV, glancing
I'm going to shoot that thing.
putting a third pin marker
I
on
moved.
it. A German dice is drawn and the Panther fires through at the Jackson, having to avoid friendly troops in front. Misses. A German dice comes out and the Panzer Grenadiers, leaving the field burning behind them, advance towards the hotel in the shadow of the still battling Jackson. German dice comes out and the Panzerschreck repositions for a shot,
We can take a shot with this.
missing
Troops.
the flank of the Jackson.
Stand fire.
An American dice comes out and is issued to the bazooka team, but with one
To no
pin
avail.
on them. They miss their order check and they go down. An American dice is drawn, the howitzer fires through at the Panzer IV, but the shot goes wide. An American dice comes out and 3/4 ton truck with the medium machine gun. Again, good shooting. The Panzer Grenadiers over there go down once again, but despite that, 2 casualties caused. Trouble mounting for the Germans on the left flank. The German dice comes out and the Panzer IV rallies, shedding its pins. A German dice comes out and the Stummel fires at the Rangers. They go back down in the road and it saves them from the shot. An American dice comes out and the sniper team make a brave assault into the side of the Stummel, spraying it with SMG fire. They very nearly destroy it, but they do not. Resistance from the left flank of the Americans.
Dice.
Different.
The M3
Use the dice
opening
like
up with its
room.
heavy machine gun. The 50 cal hammering into the Hanomag, setting it on fire. Also setting fire to the Flammenwerfer team inside.
When they come up.
The German dice comes out and the Panther drives up the road, centering itself between those 3 objectives around the front of the hotel, and in the process sprays the truck down with its hull-mounted medium machine gun. American dice is drawn, heavy machine gun, and the M3 fired at the Panzer Grenadiers in the field, missing. German dice comes out and the Hanomag, still carrying the Panzer Grenadier squad, move up the road to support the Panther. A German dice comes out and the Panzer Grenadiers deploy into the road behind the wreckage of the truck. An American dice comes
Last
out
one for the Tiger.
and the command section fire their submachine guns into the wheat, putting a pin marker on the Panzer Grenadiers. Final dice is an American dice, and the Jackson tank on the far left flank rallies. At the end of turn 4, and the right flank is still contested, it's just being desperately held by these pair of M3s, the command section, and the Jackson. Now it is rallied, facing off still with the command Panther. The second Panther has advanced down the road, along with the Hanomag. And now, facing off, the Rangers and the Panzer Grenadiers. On the left flank, it's a bit of a deadlock still. The Panzer IV has rallied, it's facing off against the Hellcat at the top of turn 5. It's all to play for. An American dice comes out, and the Jackson tank rotates, firing its hull-mounted machine gun at the Panzerschreck team, killing 1,
How does the recce thing work?
putting a pin marker on them,
You may.
firing its super heavy anti-tank gun at the Panther,
Just have a hole mounted.
and missing. A German dice comes out the Panzer IV with the jammed turret advances to take a shot at the Hellcat, which recce's out of the way behind the forest. Meanwhile, the whole mountain machine gun sprays the position of a medium howitzer, causing a single pin. A German dice comes out. Stummel advances, fires again at the Rangers, under pressure now from the Panzer Grenadiers. They do not go down, they stay up. They take 2 casualties and 1 pin.
They get captured.
A German dice has come out. Panzer Grenadiers advance across the wheat field, and in a hail of bullets, the command section of the recon go down. An American dice comes out, and the bazooka team advanced point blank, put a shot into the side of the Panzer IV, causing a stun result, putting 2 pins on it. The German dice comes out. The Panzer Grenadiers emerge from behind the burning truck, spraying down the Rangers, forcing them down, putting a pin marker on them. An American dice is drawn, and the snipers advance through the brush using their rifle and submachine gun at point blank range to put another pin on the Panzer Grenadiers on the left flank. An American dice has come out. The medium howitzer firing into the side of the Stummel, knocking it out. An American dice comes out, and the 3/4 ton truck, advancing still, fires its MMG at the Panzer Grenadiers, causing a pin. A German dice comes out, and the Panther advances, turns, exposing its side armour to take a shot at the Jackson, missing. A German dice has come out. The Hanomag has come down the side of the hotel.
Am I the only one that's got something left?
That's the last thing.
And has shot its medium machine gun at the Jackson, putting a pin on it. German dice comes out, and the Panther in the centre
Some of the cards that I play with are ridiculous.
repositions just slightly,
It makes it easy to shuffle.
trying to find a range through to the Jackson,
That's my commander.
not finding one.
All the cards in here are black. Alright, it's about
The last 2 dice come out. They are American dice, and the M3 trucks in the last stand shoot their heavy machine guns into the advancing Panzer Grenadiers, causing casualties, putting 2 pins on, but now they find themselves closer to the enemy than their own lines, and they are removed as casualties. End of turn 6. The only American presence left on the left flank is the Jackson. Toe to toe with the Panther. This Panther's dice needs to go back in the bag, probably.
Probably. I want to draw it.
Meanwhile, Panther holding the centre between 3 objectives. Hanomag. Rangers. Panzer Grenadiers locked in a duel to the death in the roadway. And a bitter battle at the edge of the forest between the sniper team and the remnants of the Panzer Grenadier squad. Blazing wreckage. First dice out is American, and the Jackson, battling on alone on the left flank, knocks out the command Panther. German dice has come out, and in an assault down the road into the Rangers, and the Rangers have been wiped out. 2 of the Panzer Grenadiers were killed in return. Another American dice has come out, but this has been their luck this game, the Americans. Point blank side shot from the bazooka into the side of the Panzer IV is a miss. A German dice comes out, and in another hard fought assault, the sniper team in the woods are killed killing 2 of the Panzer Grenadiers in return. An American dice was drawn. The Hellcat took its shot, but Panzer IV was missed again. They're living a charmed life, this Panzer IV.
Put pins on it.
A German dice was drawn, but the Panzer IV was unable to draw a line of sight with its turret jammed in position. A German dice comes out, and the Hanomag puts machine gun fire into the open-topped Jackson, placing a pin marker on it.
Hello.
A German dice was drawn, and the Panther takes a shot through at the Jackson, missing it. An American dice comes out, and the Howitzer places a shot into the surviving Panzer Grenadiers still in the road. 3 are left standing. An American dice comes out, 3/4 ton
What
truck,
have we got left?
fires at the survivors. 1 Panzer Grenadier stands his ground. A German dice has come out. The Panzer Grenadiers attempting to turn around and deal with this Jackson, fail their auto test and go down. A German dice comes out. The Panzer Schreck lone man takes a shot at the Jackson, missing. At the end of turn 6, we still have the lone Jackson over on the American left flank, smoking wreckage all around it. We have the Panzer Grenadiers down in the field, the Panther in the centre holding the objectives, carnage in the road, a single Panzer Grenadier standing there, and the remnants of the Panzer Grenadiers squad behind their tank. In the far corner, the Howitzer is still there, and there we have the Hellcat lurking. A German dice has come out, and the Panther takes its shot. It hits the Jackson and rolls a 1, fails to penetrate it. The lone Panzer Schreck lines up his shot,
You do still have the bazooka that hasn't moved yet. It can go
and
up
the
the
Jackson
fire and shoot the Panther
bursts
inside.
into flames. An American dice is drawn, and the bazooka dashes from behind the building to take a shot at the Panther holding the objectives, but it misses. A German dice comes out, and the remaining Panzer Grenadier advances into the woods, holding the objective. An American dice comes out, and the Hellcat finally wins its duel with the Panzer IV. An American dice comes out, and 3/4 ton truck, still battling away here in the centre, finishes off the Panzer Grenadier in the woods.
Came down to a dice roll.
It came down to a dice roll. In a last-ditch effort, the Howitzer fires indirectly, scores a hit on the Panther, penetrates it, sets it on fire. But the crew stay cool, put the fire out, and stay on the 3 objectives in the centre of the board.
Well, crap.
Post-game
Well, we
wrap up.
We took the cake in terms of the crack rolling.
No, a lot of your numbers were not good.
Hang on, Tom.
They're already talking it through. The generals are conferring. Flaming wreckage.
That second round of numbers were shit.
On the flank.
There were 6s. So, it makes sense.
Those
Yeah.
Panzer Grenadiers,
We shot that tank with
having
4s.
battled their way through that flank. And the Panther holding the central 3 objectives. Not quite close enough for the bazookas to contest. This one goes unheld. And at the end of the day, it is 3 objectives to the Panzer Grenadiers, 0 to the US Recon, after really quite a brutal encounter. Hope you've enjoyed it, everybody. See you next time.